Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10 of the AskRafiki show. I am Swishka Swami. Joining us today, our guest today will be Sarthak Sinha. We'll definitely talk a bit more about him. He'll give a quick introduction, but first, sorry to everyone that has been tweeting questions out and not getting any replies. We've been offline for the show for about a month and a half. It's been a while. I hope everyone had a good New Year, good Christmas break, good holidays, and for those people that have been tweeting out to us, thank you. Continue doing so. Before going into Sarthak, what's new at RafikiMedia? Right now, working on a ton of really rejuvenating a lot of the hype that we had on social media. So you're talking about Medium. We're starting to release a lot of articles. Just hired a brand new person to be dedicated to just writing articles and posting them just for you. We created a new Twitter account. On Facebook, we're trying as much as possible to promote the clients that we're working with. And our three main clients right now, of course, Debate Camp Canada, who we're loving right now. We created a new logo for them. We've really helped with the rebranding and putting out a ton of infographics. The second one is Delta Cabs in Calgary. Big problem, I think, right now, especially in the holiday season, was a ton of people going home drunk, driving, and then having a big issue. So we're trying as much as possible to push out the message that you need to get a safe ride home, that Delta Cabs is a way for you to be able to do that. And then finally, Chase Haddon, who is a longtime client of us, recently actually just got a signed deal for a record company. Incredible news. We're very proud of him, but we're still working on trying to get more and more following on Facebook for him because he's been releasing a ton of content every day. So please follow Chase Haddon if you can, especially if you like good music. So now, before going into the 5 questions we picked out, Sarthak, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself to the Rafiki Nation?
All right. So hello everyone. It's a real pleasure to be talking to all the Rafiki followers out there. So a little bit about myself. I guess I'll start by describing my most well-known work, and then I'll try and describe a little bit about myself. Me as a person. So back when I was 14, so in 9th grade, I ended up contacting a bunch of professors, like a bunch of university professors who were working on real-world research, just trying to answer questions that nobody knows the answers to. So one professor, luckily enough, got back to me saying, why don't you come and help out with the research we're doing? And one thing led to another, and now, 5-6 years down the road, I've been working on skin stem cells. So our research is looking at how you can take skin stem cells and use them for repairing peripheral nerve injuries, so making a special type of cells that can go in and be of functional use to recover from nerve injuries, but also look at how these cells could be harvested clinically for treating severe burn injuries. So currently, once you get a burn, the skin that you graft back on is void of a lot of the functions. So can you take stem cells from the skin and regenerate the skin entirely so that you get new hair follicles, new sweat glands, and really have functional recovery? So that's sort of been the research. Now, me as a person, all through this journey, I fell in love with science. So that's one thing that's happened. I've loved the people, the conversations, and ultimately, the scientific drive and, the use of scientific method to answer questions. Came to realize that any problem that if we are to truly solve it in a sustainable manner, it has to be through science. Science is never a band-aid solution, but that's the only way we know how to truly fix problems in the long run. And because of that passion, I've also been equally involved with advocating for science, getting new people involved, a lot of STEM activism. So, all in all, it's been a crazy ride, and nowhere close to ending anyway. So
yeah. So I mean that was a ton of stuff. Sarthak is a very busy guy, but the one thing that I think I've at least very much come to love about him is how despite of all of the complex stuff that he's dealing with. I mean, these are things that graduate students, even professors, even older people are dealing with. He's able to always disseminate it in a very simplified way. So definitely check out his TED Talk videos on YouTube. Sarthak is also a big person in terms of he's very much on Facebook. So if you have any questions for him, I bet he'd be willing to answer those as well. So now let's get right into the show. 5 questions. The first question comes to us from Vincent Ronberg, and his question is, what do you think of Snapchat? So I'll take the lead on this.
Go for it.
And Sartek will add on what he thinks. Snapchat, and we're going to be making an early month prediction right here. Darsh, I know you're probably going to be editing this. Darsh is not here right now. He's in Lethbridge, but Darsh and I are going to make an early year prediction here. Snapchat is going to be the biggest social media platform of 2016. Why? A couple of reasons. Firstly, ton of people are on Snapchat right now, right? Over 38 million people now on Snapchat, which is crazy. It's about to surpass Instagram. But not only that, think about what Snapchat is making you do. Snapchat is literally consuming people's lives because now, oh yes, more random people at the back. That's good. Hello? They just went away. More and more people are just posting a ton of stuff that's very much personal to them, right? The way that Facebook was able to attract us in the beginning days was we were able to talk about our lives, talk about our experiences very easily through Facebook. The way Instagram was able to really get to us is we were able to post high quality pictures about our life and our experiences. Snapchat's doing that in the exact same way. It's doing it with a very cool idea though. You have filters, you have geotags, you're able to send very quick messages to your friends, you're able to have instant gratification when having best friends on Snapchat or having hot streaks on Snapchat. And the fact that it's also very random, but the fact that there's a ton of celebrity attention, right? I mean, of course, we've all heard of DJ Khaled on Snapchat. That's been quite the holiday trend. A ton of people were following him. A ton of people like NHL stars, like the NBA, a ton of organizations, ton of institutions like U of T, etc. are on Snapchat. So it's a very inclusive community. It's very easy to be able to follow your favorite stars, your favorite organizations, whatever they're doing. One final reason, though, I think is Snapchat right now is one of my favorite apps to use, not only because recently apparently I got Snapchat famous in Germany, which is crazy. I recently got 300 followers and all of them were German, which is mad. By the way, for Snapchat, add me up, go Swish, putting it out there. But one of the big things is Evan Spiegel, who is, of course, the head of Snapchat, has a very simple idea behind it, which is he essentially wants you to be able to connect all of your platforms to Snapchat. So if you want people to follow you on Facebook, the way you actually do that is by seeing where the attention graph is. The attention graph right now, and most people are on Snapchat. So putting out a story like check out my Facebook or sending a Snapchat to a follower and say check out my Instagram account, it's likely for you to be able to actually get them to go towards your other platforms by using Snapchat in a very strategic way. So definitely I think the attention graph is moving towards Snapchat, but there's a ton of options. The people who are like, there's no ROI behind Snapchat, totally bullshit. There's a ton of things you can do on Snapchat to very much like boost your personal brand, boost your organization's brand, and get the following that you want. Sartik, do you have anything to add there?
I do. It's not as technical and not as insightful, but I just have a user perspective to it, which is, it's interesting. We as people, I think there's 2 mediums you connect with, right? Like words or pictures, right? And what's recently happened is we've become a generation deficient in having too much attention span, right? So it's like all people really have time for. It's like, it's gotten to be like the 10-second quick pictures, right? But it's interesting that you're able to connect with people you care about, your friends, in such a quick fashion, right? Like you can just get a glimpse of their life, right? Sitting there in like 5 minutes, right? To like 20 people's, best memorable moments in their life, and that's awesome. Like from a user, and the fact that you're able to share that with others. Right, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
agreed. So that's Snapchat.
Do you have a Snapchat account?
I do.
Did you want to tell everyone what it is?
I actually don't remember my answer because you know how you add, right? Like you add with the
phone thing. Yeah, okay.
I don't remember.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Sartik will figure this out after, and we'll definitely put it in the comments somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next question. JS09 on Twitter asks, what organization is the best to start now? I don't actually know what this question is exactly asking. The reason I picked it out is I think what you're trying to get at is it really a good idea to start a nonprofit or a for-profit, or what type of organization structure should I start? I think a ton of people these days are starting companies without building their product, or starting companies without building their service. And the one thing that I continuously like preaching is you need to first start building the product and then form the company around that, right? So if you need a nonprofit company, first, provide that service, see if you actually need it, and then maybe 1 year, 2 years down the road when you're becoming successful and you need to incorporate because you want to be able to tap into more funds, or you want to be able to be quite legitimate in the way that you're able to, file for tax returns, or et cetera, and all of that, then definitely form your organization and corporate structure around the service and the product that you're creating. So I really think that the company is a vehicle, but what you really need to fill inside of that vehicle is the product, the idea, the good, the service that needs to be very, very well fleshed out. So definitely, I believe that, in my opinion, if you're going towards things that are very targeted towards people, you're not trying to make much of a return off it, a nonprofit structure is great for you. You don't have to pay as much tax on what you earn. You're able to very much, withdraw funds in a very easy way. You'd be certified as a nonprofit, so there's a ton of various platforms that you can join, where you can enter, where you can gain funds for having the nonprofit status. But if you are for-profit, I believe that probably going after an LLC type of corporate structure would be good, a limited liability structure, just because it's a very easy thing for people who don't want to get into legal trouble later on, which tends to be a majority of us. But also, if you aren't 100% sure that you want to do this for the rest of your life, you're very easily able to back out from that company. But that's, again, all of the technical stuff. Sartek, do you have anything here, organization-wise?
Organization-wise.
So Sartek actually recently just also started an organization called Science to Society. So why?
It's not too much of an organization. It's mostly just a crazy idea. So one of the things that in this science journey, if you would, that I've had an opportunity to do is just volunteer lots. Volunteer with things like the MS Society, where every Saturday morning you would go and you just visit people living with this condition, right? And soon you realize that there's a lot that we take for granted in life, right? Like, imagine being diagnosed at 18 years of age, so probably your age, the average person who's watching, and imagine knowing that every day of your life is gonna get worse, right? Like, there's not gonna be another day where you're as competent as you are right now, right? And that's a very crappy feeling to come to terms with, right? So this idea, Science Society, really stemmed from the fact that could we raise empathy, right? Like, more than funds, more than anything, could we tell people that there are people who have it a lot worse? So cover stories of people battling terminal illness, people battling stigmatized diseases, things like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia. And also connect that to a science element. So, why do people care about science? I think the reason majority of us care about science, like in terms of society, is the kind of direct implication therapies and treatments have on people's lives, right? So there's no better way to educate people about science than connect it with real life, examples like, you talk about, say, a case of a burn injury patient, right? Like how something that never expected, never foreseen, never were predisposed to it, any of that, in 15 minutes their life has just changed. Fundamentally they need to come to terms with the fact that they'll look disfigured for the rest of their lives. They're gonna, not be able to live the way they previously were. But how has science facilitated that and at least saved their lives, or facilitated treatment? So this idea is people and society, and just merge the two, cover good stories of interesting stories of people, and inform what kind of science is supporting that. So Science Society, we're very excited to be producing content for a website that's upcoming.
And that's also another thing too, right? Is when you're looking at what type of organization is the best, it doesn't just mean that if you're providing a product, you're going to only provide that one single product that you can get in the store, like some sort of brush or some sort of, whatever you're selling. It also means that on social media, you're providing a lot of content to people, that you're providing videos, that you're providing a ton of informational advice. And so just in a way, I think that Science to Society is trying to build understanding and empathy among people, for individuals that have it harder and are still persevering and getting through their lives in a very happy and very positive way.
Right.
I think you should also be able to take that same thing and produce content that extends your ability to reach out to your customer and really try to connect and build understanding with them.
Right.
So third question, what is the ROI in social ventures? Craddy76 asks this. And so I'm going to quickly quickly take your organization or your idea here, StarTech, and I'm going to say Science to Society is a great example of a social venture, I think. And I think the ROI in it is simply people. You're helping people, and at the end of the day, if we've come to live kind of in a society now where money isn't the only thing people are interested in who get into business, hopefully, but reaching out to people and building empathy or building understanding tends to be something that you can very much get as an ROI. The amount of followers you're able to get all stems on whether or not you're providing value to people. That's always the ROI of a social venture. It doesn't necessarily need to be numbers, right? And surely you can raise numbers, right? There's a ton of areas and platforms where you can raise money. There's organizations that you can partner with, strategic alliances that you can make, mentors that you can get. But take aside the numbers, it's actually the biggest ROI is people, in terms of following you're able to get, in terms of the people you're able to affect with the services or the initiatives that you're able to start. Sartik, anything there?
I always think this for myself. It's like the equation of your impact. So I'm not ROI to me is your impact as an organization or your impact as an individual, right? And I think that impact equals influence plus substance, So what kind of substance are you producing? Is it of high quality? Is it novel? Is it insightful? So for that, I always think of, like research and stuff, right? Like, are we able to look farther than, the field has looked? Or are we able to answer questions in a new, unique, interesting, also helping way, So are we producing good substance? Then second is your influence, right? Like, so what kind of influence do you have? How big is your sphere of influence, right? Are you able to reach 10, 15, 20 people with that influence? Or are you able to create a platform that's bringing together millions of people, right? Having a large scale, influence on people's ideas that transcends, like nation, university, these boundaries that, are boundaries that that exist almost in our head, right? Because this internet thing has like transcended all of that, right? So how big of an influence are you able to have, and what the quality of your substance is, right? I think both are equally important, and taken together, that's your impact or ROI or however we want to classify that, right?
Yeah. So I agree with that. Yeah. I think you killed it. Yeah. Fourth question: what is the most important? We're gonna put StarTech in the spot here first. Money or respect? And the reason I'm doing this is I actually haven't formulated my answer yet. So you can take the first stab at this one. Money or respect? And you can't pick both, because of course I think we all would say both, right? Like, why was it too much to ask for both? But money or respect?
Money or respect? To me, the most honest answer is respect. Because no. Listen. And here's why.
Yeah.
Because like earning someone's respect, there's a different sense of reward to it, and you can earn money in a lot of ways. Like you could be a cyber web hacker and be filthy rich. But like I don't know if that really, like, to me, money is not enough of like a pursuing factor, or even respect is. I don't know if even respect is. I think your ultimate like driving factor is like your own fulfillment. Honestly, like I think we're selfish beings, like whether our own fulfillment. No, it's true. Like whether our own fulfillment is our, like, seeing us help someone or seeing someone else's day become better or whatever, right? And it doesn't always have to be like a respect driven mechanism, right? I think respect comes if you're just following your full, your own whatever makes you happy. Like for some people, like recently I had this opportunity to pursue this crazy internship at like CBC, right? So you have these people whose biggest drive in life is to be at a place reporting live, just like the adrenaline of being there and reporting live and addressing millions of people, right? That's their biggest drive, right? They don't care about helping anybody. They don't really care about like their work indirectly has profound impact in like helping society, helping bring important issues to life and stuff. But the reason they're doing it is because they're getting a hell of a thrill, a hell lot of fulfillment out of it, and that's the only reason I think people can truly stay committed long term to anything that they're driven to, right? They have to get some kind of self-fulfillment out of it, So, and that self-fulfillment could be in terms of like seeing other people happy, or like those reasons could be altruistic. Agreed, right? But it kind of comes back to, and I think it's very respect worthy if your self-fulfilling reasons are altruistic. Like if the reason that you're driven is to see someone else happy, or is to see someone else reunite with their family, or are able to walk again, or whatever, like
Yeah.
right. So to me, that's respect worthy. But it has to come down to self-fulfilling reasons. So I don't think money or respect really, like these binary things. Yeah, like these binary things really capture the complex thing that's us.
Sure.
So
okay, so I mean, I agree with that entirely. I do actually think that's interesting. What you said there. Also, by the way, 15 seconds ago, our screen went black, which is why we got it broke. But no, I agree with that. If I had to pick between the two, I'm gonna go very bold here, and I'm gonna justify my answer.
Okay.
I would pick money.
Okay.
And the reason why is I think I think that the negative connotation towards this question is if you pick money, you're a bad person. You're making your money off the backs of other people. I actually think like right now there's a ton of ways to make money where you can help people, right? Like when you make money through starting a nonprofit, but even beyond that, if you just make money off creating a business that helps a million people be able to do something more efficiently or do something easier, I think you in many cases do implicitly earn their respect by getting their money. In that when you do pay for something, it's not like you're showing respect for this company, but you are saying that this product is something that you value, that you're willing to spend money on, and the person I believe that you worked hard for, and you're willing to spend your own hard-earned money on something. I think implicitly it means that the creator or the founder of that company is held highly in front of that customer. So in many cases, I think that definitely I'm not going to defend the people who have earned money in horrible ways by ruining people's lives or by providing horrible things or hacking in and doing stuff like that. Ideally, I would pick both, but I think the way that in my world I would be able to earn respect among the masses, and more importantly, very quickly, is probably through targeting and making it my first priority to build, for example, a good business that can provide a humongous benefit to millions of people who would then feel like it's actually legitimate for them to give me money in turn. So it's kind of a cop-out answer, kind of not, I hope, but
we both answered it so
indirectly,
but
very indirectly.
Very.
I don't think there's a clear-cut answer. I do agree that it's a very weird binary here, but if I had to pick one, at least it would be money. But I do entirely agree that I think self-fulfillment is something that eventually drives us, right? I mean, we're pretty self-interested people, regardless of how we want to act. And in many cases, our self-interest can be altruistic, right? It can be to help people, but that doesn't mean that we're not following our self-interest. Last question. Last question. This is a question specifically, I think, meant for Sartek. So he's going to be enlightening us. I'm going to be sitting in the back listening because I also don't know too much about this. But the question is from Calder Henson, who says, I am a 16-year-old student wanting to get experience in the medical field. How do I do that?
Perfect. Awesome. I will give you an answer that I don't think is restricted to just medical field. Anything that you want to do which is beyond your age, right? Which in this case is medical school, but it could be, that you're really passionate about like architecture, or you're really passionate about law school, like Manu here, right? Here's the thing. There are people who are actually doing it, right? A lot of these people are very passionate people who have devoted their entire lives to like researching whatever they're researching now, or have trained for years and years before they can become a doctor and like do the kind of work they're doing. They would love nothing more but to pass it on. The key here is approach people in a way where you're not trying to be a parasite on their time or on their resource, but just try and offer whatever help you can give to them. For example, when I was the first position, the research position, what I was fortunate to get at 14, all I had simply said is like, could I come in and shadow your graduate students? Do they have just some time, like an hour of their day where they can just do whatever they're doing in that hour, and I can just be a spectator, ask them questions. Like people love to do that. Like you'd be surprised at how willing people are to help new people who are trying to make it, in that field or in that career, specifically for medical, right? Now I'll try and address the medical part. This would be, okay, so you're either looking through medical research or you're looking through like clinical exposure, right? So there's a lot of volunteer programs at hospitals, right, that are directed at different age levels. Like some require you to be above 18 or something. So you could try and like not argue with the rules and stuff, because people have tried that and they haven't succeeded. But there are positions that are meant for younger people. So that's indirect, that's direct hospital volunteering. So you would be in places like a gift shop at a hospital, where you just be like packing gifts for like different patients and stuff, or you'd be like just visiting patients in like a trauma unit or something, right? Just very meaningful work, right? That doesn't require too much skills or expertise, So try and look for those things. Second, with research, honestly, if you write 5 genuine, if you spend 5 days, like one full day, like maybe a weekend, like your Saturday, on researching what it is that the professor does, what kind of questions do they ask, show your interest, that you're willing to take the time out to read their articles, try and understand at whatever level you're able to, and write them a nice comprehensive emails. I challenge you, do that for 5 days, and if you don't get a reply, send me an email, or like get in touch, because there's no person who isn't like gonna use that and not gonna get it, because ultimately you have to think, like, if you were in their position, right, wouldn't you like to just help someone appreciate what it is that you have fallen in love with, right? So do that. I challenge you, if you're really interested and driven, do this for 5 times. You don't have to send bulk emails out to thousands of professors and stuff, like, because realistically nobody likes to read these spam generated generic emails. Just write 5 good quality emails, and I guarantee you it'll be worth it. It'll be worth your time. And you'll get a lot out of it. You'll be surprised how much you can get out of those opportunities. So that's my advice. I hope it was comprehensive.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing about it too is, StarTech started young, and I think the fact is right now, especially in our generation, even the generation before, they also started in many cases quite young. Definitely, we were just told to leave. Oh my, it's fine, Dorian. We're wrapping up. But many of these people, they started off very young, right? So when StarTech is 40 years old, still looking beautiful and amazing, he'll remember that. He'll remember that he got a chance when he was younger, when he had, and he's probably likely then to take up people who are also very young. But I completely agree. I think the fact is you need to take a chance, right? It means that it doesn't mean that if you work 18 hours and you suck, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to win, right? Like, you literally have to put in the effort. It doesn't mean how much time. It means what you do with the time that's given to you. So filling out applications, reading up about professors, trying as much as possible to maybe even conduct your own research through science fair projects that are very much accessible to you at an early age. These are ways I think you can very much build your portfolio up. But the second thing I think is always, as much as possible, to use your perspective, right? There are a ton of people, especially in the medical field, who want to hear from youth, want to hear how are youth trying to get in and break into the field of science. Right. I'll give you an example in private equity, one of the most selective fields ever. Even people who come out and become investment bankers don't normally get into it. It's really very selective. There's a guy who's extremely famous now, and he lives in Singapore, who got into private equity and literally released a statement saying the way he was able to get into it is he contacted a firm, contacted their manager there and said, hey, I will work for you for free, and I will do anything that you want. Yeah, and this guy got a 1-month trial period, and now he's actually earning money. He's earning money because he was able to prove himself. So think about it more in terms of how to get your foot into the door. And once you're there, I think your talent, your motivation, your dedication will show itself. Exactly. Yeah, so that's incredible, though, to have StarTech here. I'm going to wrap this up really quickly. I know we have to go, but very, very happy to be able to get StarTech on the show.
It's a pleasure.
He's an incredible person. Please follow him, especially if you are interested in medicine. But even if you're not, if you're interested in just general university questions, any question, exactly.
Yeah, like we're happy, excited people to just meet new people, have good conversations. We always crave for that stuff. Yeah, so exactly. Reach out.
So please,
just even say, this is my name. Hey, what's
Yeah,
up?
what's up? Actually, it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
And you can definitely, we'll be putting contact information of his Facebook, for example, on in the comments. I hope you found
For
that.
sure,
Okay, good.
of
Okay,
course,
good.
yeah.
And definitely just try contacting us because we'd love to answer more of your questions. Episode 10 done. The next 4 episodes will be podcasts that you can hear on SoundCloud, that you can hear on iTunes. So please check that out. Thank you for watching. Thanks a lot, Sartek.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.